Hey everyone, it's Ken Pulse with you. And in this video, I'm going to show you something that happened in a recent discussion that we had in one of my Ask Ken Anything sessions. And this discussion was around why you might not want to use the refresh all button when working with multiple Power Queries if the chain of events that you're dealing with needs to be broken into separate pieces. So to illustrate this, let's hop into Excel here and let's take a look at this workbook. And what I have here is I've got a query that is going to read from a set of credit card transactions. The job is to classify those transactions into their different categories. And we then are using a Power Query to go and summarize these so that we can then put them into a journal entry. And this is a simplistic example just to sort of get the idea across. I might not build this thing this way in the real world, but there are definitely scenarios that need this kind of staged approach to dealing with data where step one needs to be done before we can move to step two. Now I'm going to show you what happens right now when I hit refresh all. It's going to go and it's going to retrieve all of my credit card transactions ready to go. Now you'll also notice though that this query here has not updated. It stayed the same with our unclassified information, which is kind of interesting. But let's go in and just classify this stuff real quick. So Amazon, I'm going to put to office supplies, and Costco, we'll make that office supplies as well. We've got some travel here. This can be food and beverage. I'm just going to put this as other. Apple can be tech, and restaurant can be food and beverage as well. All right. So classified everything. That's all good. Now I need to update the classification table. But here's the problem. We hit refresh all, and boom, it just wiped out all the original classifications, even though I brought all of my summaries across. So this is not ideal, right? And in the real world, we don't really want to have to tell people, well, most of the time you hit refresh all, but sometimes you need to come over to the right-hand side, you open up this pane window, and then you've got to refresh them in the right order, but we don't necessarily know what the order is. That's not great. So can we build a better scenario for this? And the answer is, with a little bit of help from VBA, we absolutely can. I'm going to show you how this is actually super easy to do. I'm just going to go to the Developer tab, which, by the way, if it's not showing on your ribbon, you can just right-click, Customize Ribbon right here. And at this point, you can go and just check Developer right there. That'll bring this button up for you. Once you have it, I'm going to record macro. Now I'm going to store this macro in this workbook, and I'm just going to go and call this one refresh transactions. I'm going to put an underscore in there as well. Refresh transactions. There we go. We're now in recording mode. We can see it says stop recording at the top here. So I'm going to go over to the transactions query, right click, and choose to refresh it. So this will spin and do its thing. And then when it's done, we can go and we can say, great, stop recording. We're now going to do one more of these. We're going to go record macro. And this one here is going to be refresh summary. I'll store this in this workbook. Right click on summary, refresh. We'll let that one spin and do its thing. Perfect. And stop recording. All right. Now, these two macros are very simple and they live inside the Visual Basic Editor. But I don't really want to have to send someone into the Visual Basic Editor in order to make this thing happen either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and say, let's insert a shape on the worksheet. I'll just make our shape right here. And I'm going to go and edit the text on this. And we'll call this one refresh transactions. Go. Let's say Control A. Let's center this horizontally, vertically, maybe make the font a little bolder. That looks awesome. Not quite tall enough though. Perfect. Let's go select that. Control C, Control V. So this is going to be the button here for refresh summary. And I think I might even want to put a line break in there. There we go. Nice and easy with this one. Just enter. No alt enters or control enters or anything like that. So there we go. We have our two buttons, but of course they don't do anything. So let's right click on it and let's go to assign macro. And we'll assign our refresh transactions, and we'll, on this one, assign a macro and refresh summary. Bingo. So now I can refresh transactions. You can see it spinning. I can refresh the summary. We can see it spinning, and these things work here. So I can theoretically come back and say, all right, this is office supplies, and this is office supplies, and this one's travel. Let's put this one to personal this time here, just to make it a little different. We'll put this to other again. We've got some tech and we've got some food and beverage down here. So now the big difference is, of course, if I hit refresh all, it will refresh this pivot, but wipe this out. But if I hit refresh summary, it just brings this across. So I've now broken this into a chain of queries that I can call individually. And I've given someone a nice user interface very easily in order to be able to control what order they should be doing things. Now, if a user hits refresh transactions and wipes out the table, that's on them, right? No big deal. But at least it breaks it apart and makes it really easy. We've got a nice UI on the work surface where they're actually working in order to hopefully drive the right thing to happen. So there are times when refresh all is just too much. You need to break it down to be able to control that cycle on demand without dealing with everything all the way along the way. This is a nice and simple way in order to make that happen. The big caveats you got to remember on this: the file does need to be saved as an xlsm file, and it must be run in Excel on desktop. It cannot be run in Excel for web because VBA does not work in the web. Having said that, it can be a very, very viable solution in order to build a good application that a user can use with little problem. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Quick little tip on how to use VBA to add that secret sauce to your workbook refresh scenario.